Schwarzenegger's name appears in the titles before the main role only because he's the most famous actor. The heroes must run to help without wasting a second, so the vehicles, instead of being parked and ready, are equipped with ridiculous flashy systems that last several minutes. The cops carefully avoid shooting at Mr. Freeze's bare face and aim only from the side. In order to create ice, the freezing beam should also spray water. And why does this cannon freeze people but shatter glass? It should likewise freeze it and create an even harder barrier to overcome. In one shot, all the cops are aiming at Freeze. In the next, one of them freezes, remaining facing away from the villain. Okay, the hero's costumes have gadgets for all occasions, including figure skating, but where do these blades come out of? Straight from their feet? The guard that drove into the air keep rising up statistically as if there were an invisible cable.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
Dinosaurs went extinct because of asteroids. In many scenes, the ice is made of soft plastic that swings in the air. Hidden cables for the second part. To freeze Batman's hands to the wall like that, he should have first placed them on the wall and waited for the freezing ray. And to create atmosphere, the ice is backlit by an LED light.
At 30,000 feet, your heart will freeze and beat no more.
Cliché, instead of killing the hero, the villain leaves him in a seemingly hopeless situation from which the hero will be saved at the last moment. Within seconds, the dial is covered with ice as if a water pipe had burst about it. With such small wings, the villain in all that hardware will have done nothing but fall down faster. Freezer Cannon covers the entire surface of the target with a thick layer of ice, but they make an exception for the diamond, so that it doesn't have to come off along with the hand. And the diamond was not even remotely in Robin's hand a second ago.
You have 11 minutes to thaw the bird. What will you do? Chase the villain or save the boy?
Instant freeze rips living cells to the shreds. Robin is gone to the other world by now. You may as well not waste time tubbing him out. And why didn't Freeze do the same thing to Batman a second after freezing Robin, just to end up in Asylum later in the story? Actually, he could have just kept his finger on the trigger one more second while freezing his hand and killing him there and then. Why would boiling water turn red in color? And why wasn't that heating ray used during the battle against Freeze? In every movie there is the usual full moon cliché. If Dr. Wadley doesn't want Pamela in his lab, instead of putting up 10 signs saying don't enter, he could just lock the door. And by the law of the superfilm coincidence, the girl decides to sneak into the lab at the exact moment of Bane's birth. No magical substance can turn a skinny criminal into a Colossus by creating 70 kilograms of mass off of thin air. It's the first law of physics. And why should this invention cost 10 billion? In modern war, muscle is no longer needed as it was 1000 years ago during barbarian invasions. Now wars are won with technologies. Woodry spills a table with chemicals on Pamela, who in the next shot is already thickly covered with snakes. If it is a surveillance camera, why does it zoom in and move behind the doctor as if there were a cameraman? And why there are no safety railings near the dead canister? The tube behind Freeze's wife's head disappeared a second later. To cool the suit, Freezes need diamonds that reflect laser beams, although diamonds have no such scientific priority and were invented by the director out of thin air. Here it is obvious that the boy only pretends to stumble. Emerging from the ground in her new guise, Poison Ivy is backlit by colored LEDs to make the scene more epic.
With aloe, my skin with chlorophyll.
In this case, it shall be green in color. Why Bane is willing to survive is a real mystery, and she did not even have to threaten or buy him. Arnold publicly mocked Stallone for agreeing to make low-quality films, only to do worse and become a film in which he becomes a living meme. It freezes needs frost to survive. How can he smoke a cigar if it must be like drinking boiling water? And why doesn't steam come out of his servant's mouth if it's always freezing in his house?
You say we heat things up?
My passion.
I would like to know how she feels so plumply half naked standing in the freezer.
Uncle Alfred!
Barbara sees Alfred before this one appears in front of her.
Parents were killed in a car accident 5 years ago.
First was Batman, then Robin, and now she's an orphan too. 3 out of 3, doesn't that seem a bit exaggerated?
I'm on break from...
Oxbridge Academy?
No.
It says so on the patch on your sweater.
Where does it say Oxbridge on her sweatshirt? Pamela's gloves suddenly disappear from her hands between shots. The director do not know that no telescope can stand in the middle of the big city, with all this light and fumes that make it impossible to see distant objects. They build these things high up in the mountains for that. when telescopes hung in orbit to observe the sky on the other side of Gotham, even though he himself will be under the sky when the planet turns in a few hours. The police are not even pretending to try to stop a psychopath who is running toward a billionaire without no intentions, even though in real life she would not have taken a single step. And Bruce had no reason to invite her to his charity ball by having a clearly deranged, plant-obsessed lunatic in front of him. On the contrary, he should tell security to keep that crazy woman away.
I'll rid myself of the fur and feathered pests. And then Gotham will be mine.
It is very convenient for spectators that enemies have a habit of talking loudly about their evil plans. The heroes here have decided to participate in a costume carnival as if they were freaks. Batman's drawing of the credit card is accompanied for some reason by the sound of a cash register. And the mysterious superhero is spending millions of dollars in front of everyone. Now it is obvious that he's the billionaire Bruce Wayne. All that remains is to compare the jobs. I am not talking about the fact that no bank will give a credit card to someone who doesn't know his name or where he's from and puts his nickname on the card. There is half a meter of space between Batman's heel and the villain's face. Anti-gravity flying on ropes is getting absurd. In this movie, Gotham has useless giant sculptures squished between skyscrapers, looking suspiciously like Soviet motherland Kells monuments.
Roll codes. Disable engine.
Well done, Batman. Turning off the engine of your partner motorcycle when he's seconds away from jumping off the ramp is the right way to kill him once and for all. And what makes him think Robin won't make it to jump when a motorcycle have a much better chance of doing so than the Batmobile or the villain's wheeled refrigerator? Usually in movies, lightning strikes once every 3 seconds, but in this case it's 3 times a second, sometimes even 5. And how does this refrigerator work if that is not connected to the power? The guards see nothing wrong with standing a meter away from a criminal who could kill them with his bare hands. During the change of shots, Ben's skull disappeared for no reason. Barbara considers it normal not only to steal motorcycles from the garage of his host billionaire, but even to use them to participate in illegal races. I realize that Dick is a former gymnast, but it's not humanly possible to hold Barbara's legs like that and then pull her up, not even if you were Spider-Man. Freeze scrapes away the opaque eyes, then getting a transparent sculpture as if they were diamonds. Why do they let Pamela in without checking her ID? Two-Face costume hangs among the personal effects in the Psych ward because the director does not remember that in his movie Batman Forever, Two-Faces died and his costume was destroyed. After jumping into the river below, the villains never resurfaced, apparently sailing in a submarine. I know all 3 are mutants, but falling from that high into the water is like falling on the ground, so they should die anyway, mutants or not. After Freeze escaped, police and superheroes rushed to his residence, which they didn't have anything to do after he robbed the Diamond Museum. Another surveillance camera with very natural positioning.
Gotham Airport. These 2 arrived by charter.
And immediately after landing, he took a picture and sent it to the police. Batman holds the photo in his right hand, although it is actually in his left. And how does he know how to open the secret room with Freeze's wife? Does he have a bad sense for hidden buttons? The floor is covered with a thick white fog, but that does not prevent the villains from observing the heroes from below. When Freeze blows cold air into the house, the cops, instead of immediately running out, hold their breath, widen the eyes, get on all fours and start whining like children. And one thing I didn't understand, why in his house, where there is perennial frost, Freeze installed a power heater to quickly raise the temperature. And why does Batman, instead of chasing the bad guys, rush to get Robin out of the ice cream tub when he could get on his own without any help? Freeze grabs a balloon full of water and when it breaks out, it is completely empty.
I shall repay them for sentencing me to a life without the warmth of human comfort.
You become a mutant because of an accident, then you robbed Gotham to sponsor your research into curing your wife, and now someone has robbed you of something. And what's the point of Freeze freezing the world? Is he so inspired by a frozen planet where he will walk among corpses in the company of a crazy eco-activist and a muzzled idiot? Evie Logic is even better. She hates humans because they pollute nature and wants to exterminate them all. And she allies herself with Freeze, who has decided to turn the planet into a piece of ice where no plants will exist. He should not be his ally, but on the contrary his #1 enemy. Why the director doesn't read the plot before making his film? Of course, of all the diseases in the world, Alfred has contracted the one for which Freeze has found a cure. If the image on the computer screen is projected onto the face, it should be reversed. Robin's logo is projected on the clouds as if it were a flat ceiling. And okay, Bane ripped the spotlight off the roof, but how did he get it from there to the ground by elevator? Instead of bombs, Freeze has some kind of crystal lights. At the beginning of the film, the villain stole a rare diamond from the museum. In the final scene, he took 100 of the same kind from somewhere else. Alfred created a virtual copy of himself by programming his mind into a computer, a very easy thing for a 70-year-old man. So he knew Barbara would enter the Batcave and made her a Batsuite. Then why did he ask her not to open the box with the disc and he password protected it if he could just say go into the Batcave and change? And how did he know that Batman and Robin will accept her in their team? Wow, Robin didn't die from Ivy's kiss because she covered her lips, but why doesn't she kiss him again now that she has ripped off the protection and is invulnerable again? And no poison can kill a person instantly on skin contact. Ivy does not see Batman standing still in front of her because he was not yet square from the camera. And black spiked bracelets have appeared on his wrist that were not there before. Batman's cape is attached to his knees with ropes. The villain fixed her hair, although she cannot mirror herself in that tiny knife. For no logical reason, Ivy is being devoured by her own flower that until this instant was on her side.
And you are?
Batgirl.
Oh god, yes, who knows who is hiding behind this very covering mask? Maybe it's Alfred. The optical telescope for observing the sky has become a canon emanating coldness on a planetary scale. Now, it's understandable that comic book adaptations take certain liberties with common sense, but to end up in such stillness is a bit too much. And if Freeze only shots forward, who throws the city on the opposite side? Instead of using the freezing cannon, the villain's henchman fires rockets, instead of which he could just as easily have fired firecrackers. A member of the film crew can be seen in the corner of the screen. The heroes are in a such hurry to save the world that they first make a stop at the Batcave to change clothes and show up for the fight in the most epic outfits. By the way, where did Barbara get costume number 2? Did Alfred even prepare 2 different costumes for her to choose from? Also, the movie repeats several times that you have to tow people out within 11 minutes to avoid death, but these 2 scientists were frozen for much longer and still come back to life perfectly. At the completely random place where Dick and Barbara land, by sheer coincidence, Bane is waiting for them. A masterpiece of staging, Bane drags the heroes backwards, then they change of frame and he's already pushing them in front of him. Freeze bends the handrail with a powerful blow, but in the next shot he comes straight back again. Judging by the duration of Batman's fall from the observatory, the height of this structure is 2 or 3 kilometers. Why does the telescope explode as it were an oil station? When the heroes return to Wayne House, Robin is wearing his farm costume with the red symbol again. Oh, and if Freeze is still a prisoner, shouldn't he continue to be held in a greater than in a suite that he can escape it at any time? A dying Alfred is cured of a serious illness the very next morning so that he does not have to wait long. In the final, the heroes enjoy running around on the rooftop in front of the best signal instead of going to fight the criminals. Subscribe for more videos like this one, turn on notifications and leave a like to help grow the channel. Thank you for watching.